There's a story I want to ask you about, but if it's too personal, you don't want to tell, feel free. But I remember you told me the story about, I don't remember all the details, but somebody who you knocked on the door and they met you later and gave you more money and kind of changed the trajectory. Do you remember there's someone you met and they said, meet me later at a diner or something like that?
Yeah. Oh, this is great. I would love to tell this story.
Yeah.
It was actually like a really challenging time for me, like with my faith and my beliefs at that time, because I was kind of going through this, like, do I believe in something bigger? Do I believe in, like, where am I here? Do I believe in God? Do I not believe in God? Like just kind of at this place where it's just like, I don't know. And I'm always believed in, like, there was this huge part of me that's really faith driven. Like if you just believe something will happen, like it will, if you just believe hard enough and you take actions towards it. And I had just left New Mexico, and where I'm from, it's actually, I was looking up this the other day, more murders per capita than any other state in the country. And there was a lot of things, I had bullet holes in my car, bullet holes in my house. There was a lot of violence. My, boyfriend had died of a drug overdose. Like there was all these different, things. And I had decided that I was going to get out of it, but I was in debt and I had, been in this physically abusive relationship. I just at this place where it was just a really low part of my life. And as I was leaving New Mexico, I ran over a screwdriver, like my car, like just went to and then these girls stole my phone. I mean, it was just all bad. And I was like, I remember my friends being like, that's a sign. You don't need to leave. I'm like, I am going to crawl out of this state. I don't care. Like, I don't care what, I'm crawling out of this state. So I finally get out and I randomly go to Las Vegas, and I'm actually like, if you know couchsurfing.com, it's like people randomly, I know.
This is a real thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's couchsurfing.com. So if someone has a couch, they'll say, hey, if someone's in town and needs a place to crash, you can crash at my place. So I'd reached out to maybe like 100 people, and like 3 people had said yes. And there was this guy, and he was like, yeah, you can come stay. And I go, and there's like 30 other women there. It's really weird. And there's like people everywhere. And then he's like hooking up with one of the girls in the room. And so I go and I sit on the pavement, and I'm like, how did I end up here? Like all the things, like how did I end up here? And I'm in the pavement. I can hear the guy and the girl inside. And I'm like, this is weird. And then I'm on the website, Craigslist, and someone says that they need someone to watch their dogs. And I was like, I'll watch your dogs if I can stay in your house, because he's going on vacation. He's like, sure. So I show up. He has this beautiful home, hands me the keys to like a convertible car. Like it was just, and he has 9 Pomeranians and like 6 fish. And he like leaves and he's gone for like weeks or whatever. So I'm just there in this like house, and I have no money and I don't know what I'm doing, but it's just kind of, things are like, they're okay though. Like I'm not on the street though, I'm like, I'm here, I'm taking care of these 9 Pomeranians. I just remember they would attack me every day. And I was still really depressed because of where my life was. And he doesn't know this. I hope he's watching this. I left the water on in his kitchen and it flooded the entire place. So I get home and the whole place is flooded. 9 Pomeranians are attacking me and I'm crying. So I'm like crying in this kitchen. But I mean, like, I never really thought of how funny that image is now, imagining how funny this was. And so then I'm like, you know what? I still have my CDs. I'm going to go out. And so I go out onto the street and I'm selling, I'm going door to door. And I had decided that I needed a promo video. I needed a video that showed what a good performer I was. I'm a classical pianist. I need to show that I'm a, great pianist and I'm a singer, because I want to go and start performing at the casinos. But I knew I needed a video. And so I'd kind of budgeted it all out, and it was like $7,000. And at that time, $7,000 might as well have been $100 million. Like there's no way I could come up with $7,000 at that time. And just something was like, again, going back to like that faith. And I was like, I feel like I don't know how to make money, but I know how to do music. And if I just say, all right, God, this is up to you. Like, I'm just going to let you deal with the money stuff. I'm just going to do what I know how to do. I'm going to go door to door. And when I would go door to door, I'd make maybe $100. I wasn't making a whole lot, but I was like, I'm going to schedule this shoot in about 12 days. So hopefully you can come up with $7,000 in 12 days, and for me, even going door to door every single day, I would have made like $1,200, it wasn't a lot. And so, I went door to door that day. And that day I started reaching out. I started hiring musicians. I started hiring choreographers, videographers. I started, and I just kept walking with faith. It was faith. It will happen. And I'm going to take all these steps that show that I believe, I'm going to hire the videographers. I rented out the studio, which was like $100 an hour. And, I surrendered all that stuff. And that day I'm like, all right, I'm going to go out door to door. And so I go door to door, and, I vaguely remember this guy, but he bought a CD, and I used to sell the CDs for $10. And that night, it was MySpace days. It's back in MySpace. I get a message on MySpace. It's like, hey, you sold me a CD today, And I would love to make a donation. I'd love to donate another $200 or $300 to what you're doing and to your music career. Now, he doesn't know. I didn't tell anybody about my situation. Nobody knew about my financial situation. Nobody knew that I was making a promo video. I kept that to myself. And so I was like, great. And I was like, I felt so good. I'm like, awesome. There's going to be like 20 more guys like that are like, I just want to donate $200 in the next 12 days. Like, sure, this is going to be great. So I go to Starbucks and we sit there and he's just really like scared, timid guy. And he's just like, he just asked me a bunch of questions and he was just kind of like, he was very sad and he's like, I'm really successful and my family doesn't talk to me. And he was just kind of really sad, but he was asking how I stayed so excited about what I was doing because he's like, door to door sucks. He's like, why are you so happy? And I'm like, well, I just know that this isn't the end of my story. This is the middle of my story. And every story, there has to be like the part where it's hard, right? And I always kind of looked at it like, or else it's not even a story worth telling, you know? So I know that this isn't the end. And that drives me because I'm like, oh, cool. Like I'm having a couch surf. I'm getting, getting attacked by Pomeranians, whatever. Like these are all stories I get to tell when I'm successful and walking in. So it makes this not painful. Instead, I go, ooh, let me write this down. So I'm telling him about my journey. And anyways, he looks at me at the very end and he says, how do I spell your name? And again, I had never told him about any of, and this is within 24 hours of my prayer of everything, me hiring people. And he says, how do I spell your name? And I told him, and he pulls out a checkbook and he goes, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Something is telling me that I'm supposed to do this. And he said, you never have to talk to me again. You owe me nothing. And he writes something down and in the checkbook, he closes it and he hands it to me. And we talk briefly and I'm like scared to open it because just everything that's happening, like life is just so crazy at this point. And he leaves that Starbucks and I just wait inside the Starbucks and I like so scared to open the check because I don't know what, I'm like, what is this? And I grab the check and I open it up. And it's a check for $10,000. And I immediately started crying. And I go into the bathroom and I sit in the corner of the Starbucks. And I'm just like, it was such a feeling of like everything to me was falling apart in this realm, in earth. But if the creator of this earth is on my side, then it doesn't matter what's happening here. It doesn't matter because if I have a team member that created all this stuff, that's my team member right here. Like that's a pretty good team member to have. And so I just thought, wow, that was 24 hours. And I felt like, you hear these stories of like the waitress that, someone wrote a check to pay for their college education, or you hear those things, you never ever think that would happen to you. And I never would have guessed that within 24 hours of just making the decisions and moving in faith would like that within 24 hours, I would have exactly the, more than what I needed. And especially in such a large amount of money. And it was so, that was a mind opener. So for me, it was just reiterated, like faith is so powerful, and just walk and moving in faith and taking steps in faith. So,
yeah. And then from there you went and made the video?
Yeah, that wasn't until I read your book, Expert Secrets, years later. Because after that, I actually got into performing. So I finally figured it out. I made my videos and I performed and I traveled the world and
did all the
things
and related.
I did all the things that a musician would want. I earned 7 figures as an independent musician and toured and did some cool things. But that was over the span of my career, And then when I read Expert Secrets, I was at the point where I was about to have a baby. I was like, I can't be touring around and living this rock star life anymore, And then decided that I would get into coaching. So, and then the first ad came out. Yeah.